I'm Kristen White, host of Mandala. You're invited to join me for some important conversations that will change your life. I'm Kristen White. I'm a mother, an author, a journalist, and a mystic. And the reason I started Mandala is because I had so many questions myself. Like many of you, I wondered, is this what it's all about? Is this really my true life's purpose? Am I meant to do more? And I'm meant to be more? And how do I take the steps to get there? We all have areas of our lives that we'd like to change. We may want to improve our physical bodies, move to a new city, or find a new job. However, common sense tells us that change doesn't happen automatically. In fact, it takes a consistent, sustained action to achieve the changes that we want over time. And this requires discipline. In this episode of Mandala, did you know the process of making crafts could be a daily meditation practice that helps reduce stress? Author Maggie Oman Shannon offers inspiration on her book, Crafting Calm. Next, Lydia B. Smith, filmmaker of Walking the Camino, shares the sacred journey through Spain. And we're going to go shopping with JJ Virgin of the Virgin Diet about what really needs to be in your grocery cart and on your plate. And we're going to talk to Yogi Cameron as he offers a 52-week transformation based on the ancient teachings of the Yoga Sutras. Mandala is a tool used for meditation. We're going to invite you to join us for a moment of mindfulness. Pause and listen. There is something waiting here just for you in the next few moments. Let's face it, we live in a crazy, busy world, and often it can be difficult to just find that place of calm when we can reconnect to our inner selves. Well, my guest, Maggie Oman Shannon, is here to share with us how we can craft calm into our everyday lives. Maggie, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Now, first of all, you are the spiritual director here in San Francisco. Tell me a little bit about your work.
Sure. I am the senior minister of Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco. I've been there for 10 years. I've been serving as its leader for 5. And I think of that quote by Hafiz, that the place where you are, God's circled on a map for you. And I really believe that about the church I'm at.
Now, you've written many books, several of them about prayer, but the one that we're talking about today is Crafting Calm. Mm-hmm. What is Crafting Calm?
Oh, what is Crafting Calm? It's a way of intentionally using crafts as a spiritual experience. So, you know, sometimes when we do art activities, that's what we're doing. We're just doing art activities, but if we approach it very mindfully and with the intention to make connection with the divine of our understanding, then we are what I call in the book, Crafting Calm.
You know, I love that idea. I was looking through the book, and you have a lot of fun activities, everything from making prayer beads to, you talk about the shells and how you would go collect the shells that you painted. What kind of crafts can be part of a spiritual practice?
You know, really anything. I think, you know, no matter what it is, if somebody is approaching it as a way of spending time in the silence, you know, communing with the divine of their understanding, then it becomes a spiritual practice. So literally anything could be that if you're bringing that intention to it.
So let's talk about spiritual practice.
Sure.
I mean, we think of spiritual practice as we go to church on Sunday, we pray, you know, we're checking the box. Mm-hmm. So what does modern day spiritual practice look like?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, and I think it's something that we all need to be thinking about because, as you said in your introduction, we're all crazy busy, and we're trying to find ways to slow down, to connect, to be in the silence. So I think that that is kind of our call, is to find out what enables us to do that. And again, if we're bringing that intention to it, then pretty much anything could be that. I mean, even drinking a glass of water, or you know, you can intentionally and mindfully turn on the television. Anything can be used for that purpose if we're consciously trying to make it so.
You talk about people who want to create something and then you start creating and the judgment set in.
Right.
This is not attractive, I'm not good at this, I don't know how to draw. How do you manage around that?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this book will encourage people to know that they are creative, whether they think they are or not, whether they have a particular skill or not. Everybody is inherently creative. And the idea behind the book is that it's the process that's important and not the final product. So try to get out of judgment mode, try to relax and just lose yourself in the pure pleasure of the process. That's what Crafting Calm is all about.
Thank you so much. Very inspiring. Makes me want to run to Michael's.
Wonderful. That's the hope. That's the hope. We need your gift. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Thank you. It's an ancient journey that takes seekers across Spain, traveling 500 miles. It's called the Camino, and it's used for so many purposes. Well, I'm here with filmmaker Walking the Camino, Lydia Smith. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So you've created an incredible film documenting this journey. Why do people walk the Camino?
I think there's as many reasons why people walk the Camino as there are people that do it. It's this huge variety of some people doing it for a physical challenge, to see the country of Spain, others for a time out in their lives, and others for very deeply religious reasons of seeking forgiveness for their sins. What was really amazing is just the variety of people, and I loved each one of them. But what I did something a little bit different with this film is, for me, I really wanted the Camino to cast the movie. My intention was this was the Camino's film. And so of all the people we show in the film, only one I knew beforehand. And everyone else we just kind of picked up along the way. And I wanted to have a variety of ages, nationalities, reasons for doing the Camino, spiritual, religious, or none. And I wanted it to kind of really reflect what you encounter when you're on the Camino.
Now, I understand you've had incredible success with this film.
We were actually one of the top 10 grossing documentaries of the year, and that was amazing because we were self-distributing. We didn't have any big budget, we didn't have an ad budget or anything like that, but it really was people coming out that had walked, and they were spreading the words and passing out flyers and handing out postcards. And so it was very much in the spirit of the Camino.
It's just been thrilling, a walk. I think of it as walking in a postcard. You know, you're just walking in such beauty.
You just follow the path, and whatever comes up is what is there.
For you, what was so important about making this film?
I truly believe that one of the most important things we can do to help the planet is to work on ourselves, to heal our wounds, and to be the best people we can be. Our society spends so much time looking around, looking at all the problems outside ourselves, and so little time looking at ourselves. I mean, we spend more time on taking care of our teeth than we do our mental state.
Right,
most
I
of
agree
us.
with that.
Yeah, and so for me, I just felt like it was so important to show an experience where people had such amazing personal transformation. I have a spiritual practitioner, Susie Lula, and she coined a phrase, personal transformation sparks collective evolution. And yet, so many of us are just looking at like, how do we solve this problem, instead of like, what do I need to do to be aligned, to be the best person I can be, to be aligned with my life purpose, and then move forward from there.
Absolutely. Lydia Smith, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We're here at the Whole Foods Market in El Segundo, California, which is near Manhattan Beach, and I'm going to take the shopping cart challenge. I'm going to fill it full of the healthy foods that I like to eat and see if I can, in fact, pass the test. We'll see how well I do.
Aisle after aisle, I walk through the store, placing in the cart what I think is the best food for me.
Ancient grains, flax, quinoa, these are probably pretty good.
As I round the corner of yet another aisle in the Whole Foods Market, I run into New York Times bestselling author JJ Virgin.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to save you. Oh, hi JJ. How are you? But I thought
She's the author of the book The Virgin Diet and The Sugar Impact Diet.
Organic, agave, low glycemic.
it sounds great, doesn't it? When in fact, agave is higher in fructose than high fructose corn syrup. And we all know about high fructose corn syrup. And the reason that's such an issue is fructose works like it's different than every other sugar in that it goes straight to the liver, tells your body to start making fat, and bypasses satiety signals. So you're hungry and making fat at the same time. So how about we put that one back? And we'll address the rest of this here momentarily.
Okay.
I see some issues in your cart. Looks like we might need to do a cart audit.
A cart audit.
All right?
All right.
Let's go.
Okay. So, what are the 7 foods that we need to completely eliminate?
So they are gluten, dairy, soy, eggs. Those are the top 4 high-fi foods.
Okay.
And then corn, peanuts, sugar, and artificial sweeteners. We're going to trade your peanuts for tree nuts, your peanut butter for almond butter, cashew butter, macadamia nut butter. I dare you to tell me you like the peanut butter better.
I'm willing to try it.
Okay, good. So I see that you snagged a little drink here. Tell me why you decided that was a good idea.
I was thinking this says it hydrates.
Uh-huh. And water doesn't do that?
Well, you know, sometimes just plain water is boring.
Oh my goodness.
The most shocking realization for me is the amount of sugar found in many products that look healthy.
Now this might be okay. Let's read the label. How much sugar is in that? Is there any?
18 grams of sugar.
All right.
Is that like Kool-Aid?
Now the final one are the eggs.
Okay.
And I find with a lot of people, once we get through the first 3 weeks, they can eat good pastured eggs. The challenge is most people will do eggs as their go-to protein because it's quick, it's fast, it's cheap.
Right.
And when do they usually have them?
In the morning.
In the morning. And that's a better option than what most people have for breakfast, which is dessert.
Mm-hmm.
That muffin is a cupcake. But the easiest swap for eggs is just to make a Virgin Diet shake.
JJ Virgin says a daily shake created with fresh organic grains and other high-quality ingredients can make the process of eliminating the foods we need to avoid go much smoother.
Either coconut milk or almond milk, unsweetened. That's my base. Now, I'm going to use my Virgin Diet protein shake, and I'm going to make this. This is 1 scoop of vanilla and 1 scoop of chai, my secret weapon. Avocado is a fruit. I'm going to use some avocado because it makes it really creamy and delicious. Because it's not peanut butter. It is, and again, I've got my 365 organic almond butter. Chia seeds are amazing because they're rich in omega-3s, but they also, I like things very thick.
Right.
So if you're a thin shake girl, you're going to go, okay, wait a minute, but I like it thick. So, put some ice in there. All right.
Did you put this one in?
You'll see what I'm doing with that. That's special.
That one does look good.
Okay, now raw cacao is amazing health benefits, but the other thing that I love about it is it gives it a little crunch. So I'm making this thick with a little crunch, and it's loaded with fiber. And so I love to have clean, lean protein, loads of fiber, healthy fats can keep you full for hours, because you should not have to eat every couple hours. You should be able to go 4 to 6 hours.
Should I be worrying about the calories that are in this?
You need a substantial breakfast. People who eat a substantial breakfast lose more weight, keep it off. Okay, so I made this very thick. I'm gonna give you the spoon. But this is, now see the pretty color?
It is pretty.
Isn't it pretty?
It smells good.
Well, we'll actually do it without the spoon. Just
cheers.
Cheers. You're so daring.
To the new me.
See, I love it that thick. Now, if you don't love thick,
Oh, that's good.
isn't that good?
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, like
This
shockingly
is real.
amazing.
This is not an actress.
This is shockingly amazing. So what's the first step? So I've decided to take your challenge.
Okay, that's the first step.
Go home to my house.
Decide.
What do I have to do? Throw away everything in my pantry? Probably.
In your pantry, probably. So yeah, the first step is to decide.
Okay.
And to decide, you know, hey, it's 3 weeks. I'm going to do these 3 weeks anyway. Why not now? I deserve this.
Okay.
I want to feel better. And that's why you take the symptoms quiz. You'll take the symptoms quiz in the Virgin Diet. That's going to show you, you know, gee, how food intolerant am I, to help you connect the dots.
So you talk a lot about food intolerance. Can you define food intolerance for us?
So I take some poetic license here. So I made this up myself.
Okay.
All right, because there's an idea of food intolerance being this immune issue, but when I talk about food intolerance, I'm looking at 3 areas. Genetics, things like celiac disease and lactose intolerance and gluten intolerance. Hormonal issues that you get, like insulin resistance, diabetes from sugar. And
Guilty.
and then immune issues. And there's everything from an outright allergy, like, don't open the peanuts on the plane because someone's throat will close up, to the ones, and this is an area that is really emerging, this idea of delayed food sensitivities. Foods that are typically eating every single day, your gut's gotten more leaky, more permeable than it should be. And these foods actually are causing an immune response in your body. Again, those things I talked about, symptoms of gas and bloating and joint pain and fatigue and skin problems, accelerated aging. And when you pull these things out, the first couple days you're like, oh, where are they?
Right. I miss my cheese.
I want my cheese.
Where is my cheese?
That's actually a great thing because your body tends to crave the very foods that are hurting it. At the end of the first week, you feel so dramatically different that it helps you stay on it. And I always say people come in because they want to lose weight fast,
right?
But they stay because they feel so much better that they can't believe it. The biggest challenge I have with this program when someone's committed to it, like you did, is at the end of 3 weeks, they don't want to go back.
JJ Virgin, thank you so much for being here with us in Whole Foods and taking me on an incredible tour. It probably has changed my life. Thank you.
We'll see, won't we?
We will. We all want to have health and wellness and vitality in our lives, but how do we get there in a way that is meaningful and sustainable? I'm here with Yogi Cameron, the author of The One Plan, to help us sort through all the many levels that it takes to have holistic health and wellness. Yogi, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So your book, The One Plan, is based on some ancient teachings, and they have a modern translation.
Yeah, many people have taken this and translated it. I've sort of put it in a plan that you can do over 1 year. So it's called The One Plan, and it's based on Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And it's really about you and applying nature's laws. So it's not my law, it's just the way that life is. Day-to-day life, you're not going to be able to always have it the way you want. But if you live a more natural way, and that means you respect nature and you go with it rather than you try to go against it, then you'll be better off than if you don't.
There's so many people out there who struggle with their weight. They struggle with feeling okay with whatever their weight is. They try to fix it in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, have some success, and then fall back. What's going on there?
Nobody's successful at 10-day, 20-day, 30-day thing because there's such a limit to it. And then what do you do after in the 31st day? You kind of feel like, oh, I did a lot, and now I'm not going to do anything else. It doesn't sustain you. What I'm saying is, it's kind of like a fast. You do your 21 days, but what are you going to do after that? You still need to do something. So what I do is I treat the 21-day fast as something you do just to clean yourself a little bit more, but you still should be cleaning yourself every day. Now we understand that in cleanliness and taking care of our health on the outside, so we take a shower. But why aren't we doing that with our mind? We need to clean our mind out of stuff as well as our body. So the One Plan is all about the mind and the body. Let's clean it out, but let's sustain cleaning it, not let it keep getting bogged down and then cleaning it again.
You have some interesting questions in the book that we were talking about. And some of them were quite intriguing, like when you ask yourself questions about when you go out to a restaurant, do you take too many napkins? Or do you indulge on things that are free giveaways? I mean, how does that relate to our overall health and wellness?
Well, because it puts you in a mindset of, oh, I need to get something. So you're always outward, looking outward. Everything is taking you outward instead of staying here with your peace of mind. Because ultimately, whether you have a napkin or you don't, it's not really going to change your life.
You have your sleeve, right?
Yeah, you have your sleeve. Or somebody else's sleeve.
Right, exactly.
Preferably. But it's all about, keeping the peace. So whatever, that mentality, of taking too many napkins will go into other things. So once you start a habit, it can seep into all parts of your life. So what I'm saying is, well, don't start that habit. You know, keep your peace and know that you don't really need that many things outside of yourself.
So the Yoga Sutras have basic principles within them.
Yeah.
And what are those?
Well, there's 8 limbs. They're called 8 limbs, and they are yama niyama, which is the way you treat yourself, the way you treat others in society. You know, so truthfulness, for example, is a pillar of the practice, or ahimsa, which is non-violence. But non-violence, taking it in a much broader way of, am I violent to myself when I eat too much, when I speak too much, when, you know, sleep too much? You know, that is not violence too. Because everything that is not in balance is violent towards us and to other people. So it's really taking everything that we think about in life, like truthfulness. Am I lying to myself about something? Do I want to be a certain way, but I'm not, so I'm just going to pretend? Well, that's a lot more pressure. So again, I'm being kind of violent to myself. So all of these things are interrelated. And then there's yoga postures and breathing methods and meditation and all of those two things as well. But it's really getting the basics right first before you even attempt to do everything.
So one of the principles that we touched on earlier is truthfulness. And I think that you propose a lot of even radical truthfulness. You say, you know, if you feel like yawning, don't stifle your yawn.
Yeah.
You know, just to be honest in everything. You know, don't say yes to make plans that you don't intend to keep.
Yeah.
Why is that level of honesty so important?
Because it takes the fakeness out of things, right? You're not pretending anymore. Because ultimately, if you pretend something, you're going to attract other people who also pretend. And that puts you in a group of people you might not want to be with.
All the imposters.
In the imposters. Right? And if you're okay to be in with the imposters, it's all good.
Right.
But if you start complaining about them and saying, well, why are they like that? Well, because they reflect you.
Right.
Right? So you want to be in the room with the people that appreciate you the most. So if you are, you know, trying to pretend you are something, well, you want to be in the room with other people pretending too. You don't want to be in a room where everybody's honest.
And you're the pretender. Then it would be obvious.
Yeah, so be in the room where people really appreciate you and that people speak to you in a way that you want to be spoken.
So this principle of holistic wellness is about having a practice that you do every day.
Every day.
And having the discipline around it.
Yeah.
And then out of that flows your ideal weight, your beauty, your tranquility, and all of those good things.
Exactly. And it's something you do every day. So instead of, you know, sometimes, you know, it's unrealistic that you're going to do something sometimes and then you're going to get the full benefit of it. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
Right? So I'm not.
The sad truth.
That's just, you know, many people will tell you other things, but I won't.
The one-time workout, great results.
Yeah, you know, the 4-minute meditation and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And enlightenment will happen in a moment. You know, good luck with it.
Let me know how that's working.
Yeah. So I'm saying is, you know, let's put aside all the fads, all the things that you've told yourself that, you know, it doesn't work anyway, and just do it properly. And doing it properly means, you know, it's like when you brought up your children, you didn't start going, well, you know, I'll just use this as an experiment. And, you know, maybe I'll be a parent on a Tuesday, and then, you know.
They're not really my children, they're imposters.
Yeah, exactly. So you were a parent every day.
Right.
But this is the same thing. You got to be healthy every day. Why do it only 2 days a week? Right? So it's really cutting out all the stuff that you don't need to do and getting on with the things you should be doing.
So we live in a world that's busy.
Yeah.
And one of the aspects of that is prioritizing our list. You know, what's the most important thing for us to do to achieve probably sometimes in our life the most compelling problem that we have.
Yeah.
And so this is a different way of looking at that.
Well, it's making your list and saying what is the most important thing to me. That's why honesty is really important, is because, you know, do I want to drink a glass of wine every day? Why? And my mind says you shouldn't, or why shouldn't you? If you really want to do it, well, just do it, right? So it's getting that level of honesty, because a lot of people who I consult with come and say, well, I should be doing this, or I'm trying to do that. Well, why are you trying to do that? Well, somebody told me I should, right? Or I should be healthy. Right. Well, do you really want to be healthy? Well, to a point. Well, just do it to a point.
So how do we start on the one plan? Where's the starting point?
Starting point is really making a decision if it's important to you and what is important to you. Because you don't want to start something and then in the middle wonder, why am I doing this again? Right? You want to say, and to what degree is this important? Am I going to do it somewhat? Am I going to do it fully? You know, what is my commitment here?
So as you get further into it, there's 8. So we've talked about 2, 3. What are some of the other ones?
Then we start doing the practice of yoga postures, really just to open up the body, because physically we need to be flexible, right? If our body's too stiff, then we can't sit properly to do the higher practices. Then it's pranayama, the breathing practices, starting to control the prana in the body. And then after that is sense control, starting to control what we see, what we touch, and all of those things. And that's very important, is because we're so sense orientated. We love nice things. We want to touch things. We want to smell things. We want to, you know, we want to consume them. So all the time, that's really a big challenge for everybody. And then after that, there's concentration practices and then meditation. So that's really step by step. That's why the commitments are really at the beginning. Sort of like the yoga community have taken yoga, the physical aspect, and they haven't actually done the 2 steps before it. They kind of jumped into the middle part of it and they continue. So there's a lot between meditation and yoga postures. There's all these other steps to do. And kind of the most popular are meditation and yoga postures. But really we can't do yoga postures properly and do meditation unless we commit to all these other things.
So what's possible if we follow the one plan?
Everything's possible. Absolutely everything. That's the thing. Because you start peeling away layers, right? What's inhibiting you doing something is because the mind has got fear. So once we peel away the fears, then we can do what we set out to do.
Yogi, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sharing the plan.
Absolutely.
I'd like to invite you to join me in a meditation that I use when I open up my intuitive channels. So take a moment, put both your feet on the ground, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. And release it. We invite the energy up from the earth and into our hearts. And we release it. And we invite the energy down from the heavens and into our hearts. And we release it. And we ask that the information which we're about to be receiving at this time be of the highest possible vibration and for the highest good of all concerned. We invite in the Christ consciousness. We invite in the light beings. We invite in the archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Sandalphon. We invite in the Ascended Masters, Saint Germain, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Yogananda, Buddha, Ganesh. We invite in the spirit guides and departed loved ones. And we invite in the thousands of those, named and unnamed, who assist us on our spiritual path and in our everyday life. And we thank you for your guidance and assistance at this time. And so it is. Thank you, and have a blessed day. A mandala represents the circle around your own life, the past, the present, and the future. The patterns and possibilities are endless. How you create your mandala is completely up to you. Is there something that you heard in our conversations today that inspired you? Often, all it takes is one word or one thought to completely transform your life. Is there some new way that you would like to explore designing a new pattern for your life?